The moving truck pulled up at exactly 8 a.m. I watched from my car parked across the street as Mom directed the movers like a general commanding troops. My sister Nicole stood beside her, gesturing toward the front door of the Victorian house. My house, with the confidence of someone who believed she had every right to be there. "Careful with that armoire," Mom called out. "It's an antique. It's going in the master bedroom upstairs." The master bedroom? In my house. That I'd owned for 3 years. I stayed in my car sipping coffee, checking my watch. The courier from my attorney's office would arrive at noon with the updated deed and a very specific set of documents. Until then, I'd let them dig their hole deeper. My phone buzzed. A text from my brother Ryan. "Are you really going to let them move in?" I typed back, "They're not moving in. Wait and see." 3 dots appeared, then disappeared. Ryan knew better than to argue with me when I had that tone, even over text. The situation had started 6 months ago at Sunday dinner. Mom had made her announcement with the same confidence she was now showing the movers. "I've decided to sell my condo," she'd said, passing the mashed potatoes. "The market's terrible and I'm tired of dealing with the HOA fees. I'm moving into the family house." The family house. That's what she called the Victorian on Elm Street. The house that had belonged to my grandmother, then briefly to my parents before financial trouble hit. "What family house?" I'd asked carefully. "Don't be dense, Amber. Grandma's house. The one on Elm Street. It's been sitting empty for too long. Nicole and I have been discussing it and we're going to move in together. Share expenses, keep it in the family." "Mom," I'd said slowly, "that house isn't empty. And it's not family property." "Of course it is. Your grandmother left it to the family. We all have a claim to it. Grandma died 8 years ago and the house went into foreclosure 6 years ago. Do you remember?" Mom had waved her hand dismissively. "That was just a paperwork issue. Your father and I sorted it out." "You didn't sort anything out. The bank took the house. You lost it." Nicole had jumped in, her voice sharp. "Even if that's technically true, it was always meant to be family property. Grandma wanted us all to have it. You can't just claim it for yourself." "I'm not claiming anything. I bought it 3 years ago. From the bank. It's mine." The table had gone silent except for the clink of silverware. Then Mom had laughed, that dismissive sound she made when she thought I was being ridiculous. "You didn't buy that house, Amber. You were 28 years old. You didn't have that kind of money. I had just sold my app development company for $2.4 million. I had exactly that kind of money." "Your little phone apps?" Nicole had scoffed. "Please. Even if you made some money, you wouldn't have spent it on that house. You're too practical for sentiment." "It wasn't sentiment. It was investment. The house was undervalued in a good neighborhood with strong appreciation potential. I bought it, renovated it, and I've been renting it out for 3 years." Mom's face had gone tight. "Renting it out? To strangers? That's a family home. It's my property. And yes, to strangers who pay $3,800 a month and take care of it." "Well, your tenants will just have to leave," Mom had declared. "Nicole and I are moving in next month. We've already given notice on our places." That had been 6 months ago. I'd spent the time trying to reason with them, showing them documents, explaining property law. They'd ignored everything. In their minds, the house was family property, and my ownership was some kind of technicality they could override with volume and determination. Now here we were. Moving day. I watched Mom direct movers carrying boxes labeled kitchen and living room. Nicole's car was parked in the driveway, my driveway, overflowing with hanging clothes and decorative pillows. My phone rang. "Marcus Chin, my attorney. The courier is 15 minutes out," he said. "Are they actually trying to move in?" "Currently watching them unload a moving truck." "Jesus. Hey, I've also arranged for Officer Patterson to be there. Just in case things get heated when reality hits." "Good call. Amber, are you sure about this?" "They're your family. They're trying to steal my house, Marcus. I'm very sure." I hung up and got out of my car. Time to make an appearance. Mom spotted me immediately. "Amber. Finally. Come help us. The movers don't understand where things should go." "I'm sure they don't," I said calmly. "Since they shouldn't be going anywhere." "Don't start," Nicole said, hauling a suitcase from her trunk. "We've been over this. The house belongs to the family. You're being selfish about this. The house belongs to me. Legally, officially, completely. Family property isn't about legal technicalities, Mom said using her patient voice, the one that made me feel like a child throwing a tantrum. It's about what's right. Your grandmother wanted this house to stay in the family. That means all of us. Grandma wanted a lot of things. She also wanted you to make her mortgage payments, which you didn't do. Hence, foreclosure. Mom's face flushed. We went through a difficult time financially. I know. Which is why I bought the house. To preserve it. As my investment property. One of the movers, a large guy with a clipboard, approached us. Ladies? We need to know where you want this furniture. The truck's running on the clock here. The master bedroom, Mom started. The furniture stays in the truck, I interrupted. Amber. Nicole's voice rose. Stop being ridiculous. We're moving in. Accept it. You're not moving in. You can't move into a house you don't own, don't rent, and have no legal right to occupy. We have every right. Mom pulled out her phone. I'm calling your father. He'll talk some sense into you. Dad lives in Arizona with his new wife. He hasn't had an opinion on this house in 6 years. A car pulled up, not the courier yet but a silver SUV I didn't recognize. A woman in a business suit got out carrying a leather portfolio. Margaret Hayes, she called out. Mom turned. Yes. I'm Sandra Liu from Prestige Realty. I'm here for our noon appointment to discuss listing your property. I almost laughed. Mom had actually called a realtor. Oh yes. Mom brightened. Sandra, perfect timing. This is the property. As you can see, it needs some updating but the bones are good. We're thinking we can list it for around $850,000. Sandra looked at the house, then at her paperwork, then at Mom. Mrs. Hayes, I'm confused. When we spoke, you said you owned this property and wanted to list it for sale. I do own it. Well, my family does. It's complicated, but we're ready to sell. Who holds the deed? Well, technically it might be in my daughter's name, but that's just a formality. It's family property. Sandra's expression shifted to professional concern. Mrs. Hayes, I can't list a property unless the deed holder authorizes it. Is your daughter here? I'm here, I said, stepping forward. I'm Amber Hayes. I own this property. And I'm not authorizing anything. Sandra looked relieved to have clarity. Ms. Hayes, are you interested in listing this property? No. I'm not selling. And these people are attempting to move into my house without permission. Mom's face went red. This is family property. Tell her, Sandra. Family property doesn't work like regular property. Sandra tucked her portfolio under her arm, her professional demeanor firmly in place. Mrs. Hayes, I'm sorry, but that's not accurate. Property ownership is determined by deed registration with the county. If Ms. Hayes holds the deed, she's the legal owner. Family relationships don't override property law. But I can't help you list a property you don't own. I'm sorry for the confusion. Sandra headed back to her car, leaving Mom sputtering. The courier arrived exactly at noon as Marcus had promised. Behind him, Officer Patterson pulled up in his patrol car. Just a presence, not aggressive but unmistakably official. The courier approached me with his tablet. Amber Hayes. That's me. I have documents from the law offices of Chin and Associates. I need your signature and then I need to serve copies to Margaret Hayes and Nicole Hayes. I signed the tablet. The courier pulled out 2 thick envelopes. Margaret Hayes. He approached Mom. What is this? She demanded. Legal documents regarding the property at 742 Elm Street. You've been served. He handed her the envelope, then turned to Nicole. Nicole Hayes. Nicole took her envelope like it might bite her. The courier nodded to me and left. Mom ripped open the envelope, pulling out the papers. I watched her face change as she read. Confusion, then disbelief, then anger. This says we're trespassing, she shrieked. This says if we don't leave immediately, you'll have us arrested. That's correct, I said calmly. You're attempting to move into a property you don't own, don't rent, and have no permission to occupy. That's trespassing. I'm your mother. And this is my house. Those 2 facts don't cancel each other out. Nicole was reading her copy, her face pale. There's a cease and desist order here. It says we can't contact you about the property anymore. It says any future attempts to claim ownership will result in legal action. Also correct. Officer Patterson stepped forward. Ladies, I'm going to need you to remove your belongings and clear the property. Ms. Hayes is the legal owner and she's asked you to leave. This is insane. Mom looked around wildly as if someone would materialize to tell her I was wrong. You can't do this. We're family. Family doesn't try to steal each other's houses, I said quietly. You've spent 6 months ignoring legal reality because it didn't fit what you wanted. You gave notice on your apartments. You hired movers. You called a realtor to sell my house. All without my permission. All while I repeatedly told you this wouldn't work. Where are we supposed to go? Nicole's voice cracked. You should have thought of that before you terminated your leases and ignored every warning I gave you. I pulled out my phone and showed them a string of text messages. 6 months of me telling them not to do this, explaining property law, begging them to reconsider. I tried. You didn't listen. Mom's face crumpled. You're really going to let your own mother be homeless? You're not homeless. You made yourself homeless by assuming you could take my property. That was your choice. Ms. Hayes is correct, Officer Patterson said. Ladies, you need to remove your items from the property now, or I'll have to escalate this situation. The movers, sensing the shift in power, began loading furniture back into the truck without being asked. Nicole started crying, hauling suitcases back to her car. Mom stood frozen, the legal papers clutched in her hands. I don't understand, she whispered. How did you become so cold? I'm not cold, Mom. I'm protecting my investment. You raised me to be independent and practical. I'm being both. Your grandmother would be ashamed. That stung, but I held firm. Grandma would be ashamed you lost her house to foreclosure. I saved it. I renovated it. I've maintained it for 3 years. I'm the one who honored her memory. You just wanted to live in it for free. Ryan's car pulled up. He got out, assessed the situation, and came to stand beside me. You okay? He asked quietly. I'm fine. He looked at Mom and Nicole, both crying now, loading their belongings. You tried to warn them. For 6 months. They didn't listen. They never do. The moving truck left. Nicole's car left. Mom's car left last, Mom refusing to look at me as she drove away. Officer Patterson lingered. That was rough. It had to happen. For what it's worth, you handled it well. Lots of people would have caved to family pressure. Caving would have cost me an $800,000 asset. I don't cave that expensively. He smiled slightly. Fair enough. You need anything else from me? No. Thank you for being here. After he left, Ryan and I stood in the driveway looking at the house. My house. Still mine. Still protected. Where are they actually going? Ryan asked. Mom has a friend with a guest room. Nicole will probably stay on someone's couch. They'll figure it out. You're really not going to help them? With money? Maybe eventually. With my house? Never. There's a difference between helping and enabling, Ryan. They need to learn that difference. Dad called me. He's furious. Dad lost his right to opinions when he moved to Arizona and stopped paying child support. His fury is irrelevant. Ryan laughed. You've gotten hard. I've gotten clear. There's a difference. 2 weeks later, Mom called from her friend's guest room. I found an apartment. 1 bedroom. It's small. Congratulations. I need first, last, and deposit. That's $4,500. I'm not giving you money, Mom. Silence. Then, so you'll just let me be homeless? You're not homeless. You have options. But those options don't include my house or my money. Not after you tried to steal from me. I wasn't stealing. She stopped. Maybe she finally understood. You were taking something that didn't belong to you without permission. What's another word for that? More silence. Figure it out, Mom. You're 62, not helpless. Nicole's 40. You're both adults. Act like it. I hung up. 3 weeks later, Nicole sent a text. Got approved for an apartment. Moving in next month. I'm sorry. You were right. I stared at the message for a long time before responding. Thank you. Good luck with the new place. 4 weeks later, Mom called again. Her voice was different. Smaller. I moved into my apartment. It's not much, but it's mine. I'm glad you found something. Your Aunt Carol lent me the deposit money. That was kind of her. Amber, I'm sorry. I didn't understand. I thought because I was your mother, because it was family, that the rules were different. The rules are never different, Mom. Not for property ownership. I see that now. I wish you'd helped us. I tried to help you by telling you the truth. You didn't want that help. You wanted me to give you my house. She was quiet for a moment. You're right. I wanted what I wanted, and I didn't care that it wasn't mine to take. It wasn't a full apology, but it was something. How's the apartment? I asked, softening slightly. Small. Quiet. I'm learning to live on my actual budget instead of my fantasy budget. That's good, Mom. Will you come visit sometime? I thought about it. The anger had faded, leaving something more complicated. Boundaries didn't have to mean permanent walls. Maybe. After some more time. I understand. She paused. I'm proud of you, you know. For what you built. For standing up to me. I didn't see it before, but I see it now. My throat tightened unexpectedly. Thanks, Mom. After we hung up, I drove to Elm Street and walked through my house. The tenant's lease was ending next month, and I had decisions to make about the property. I could sell it, take the profit and invest elsewhere. I could rent it again. Or I could keep it empty, a symbol of the boundary I'd enforced. In the end, I listed it for rent. A family with 2 kids signed a year lease at $4,000 a month. They loved the hardwood floors in the big backyard. They sent me a photo of their kids playing in the front yard, happy and settled. That's what the house was meant for. Not a battlefield. Not a symbol. Just a home for people who'd pay for it, care for it, and appreciate it. My phone buzzed. Ryan, proud of you, sis. You handled it right. I smiled and responded, thanks. It was the hardest thing I've ever done. But necessary, he wrote back. Yeah, I typed. Necessary. The house on Elm Street stood solid and beautiful, properly maintained, legally protected, and finally, serving its purpose without drama. Not family property. Just mine. And that was exactly how it should be.